Sometimes I get mad at my DEI practitioners because we allowed other people to define and determine what DEI stood for. So it's not just we want diversity. No, we call it culture. DEI is what brings people to the pool. But who you gonna let swim? What's your culture saying? Your culture's pushing something out. And so with the liberation framework, we're seeing where those cracks are.
Welcome back to Emunah, the place where faith meets life. And we talk honestly about what it means to trust God in a complicated world. Today, we're diving into a powerful conversation about healing our history and healing ourselves. My guest is Dr. Jessica Pepple of Worcester, Massachusetts, founder of the Reframe Institute. It's a bold new organization launched on Thanksgiving Day with one mission: to reframe history, restore dignity, and rebuild our collective future. Through historical pilgrimage, community dialogues, and work inside schools and corporations, Dr. Pepple is helping people confront generational wounds and learn how to engage across our differences with empathy and courage. Today, we're talking about what it really takes to face the past, how faith can guide us through repair, and why liberation begins with naming the truth. This is an episode about dignity, healing, and hope. And I can't wait for you to hear it. Welcome, Dr. Pepple. Am I pronouncing your name right?
Yes, ma'am. It's Pepple like apple.
Okay. Dr. Pepple,
Yes, ma'am.
what inspired you to create the Reframe Institute, and why launch it on Thanksgiving Day?
Sure. I come from the South, from Orlando, Florida. Moved up to Massachusetts about 8 years ago. And coming from Florida, seeing more Black and brown people, to moving up north, I found myself being the only Black woman or the only Black person in predominantly white spaces. And not only that, but I happened to be the one talking about race and racism. So here's this Black woman, and she has a Southern accent, and she's here to school us in this liberated place called Massachusetts. And I often tell people, well, I respect it. I said, however, the only difference between up north and down south when it comes to facing and confronting racism is that it happens to be colder up north. I said, that's the only difference. I said, but folks have to realize that Massachusetts was the first state to make slavery legal. So I share that because I love Massachusetts. Massachusetts, it's home. But I often tell people, please don't think that this makes us on top of the world when it comes to being anti-racist. And so I've been doing work around belonging, equity, inclusion, diversity, and now my new framework is the liberation framework. But I share that because if I'm truly being transparent and walking by faith on this one, I come to realize that we cannot do this work alone. And when I see the state of Black women, it is horrendous. Whether it's from looking at campaigns and seeing how they're treated, to looking at the unemployment rate. I think I read last week it's at 7.5% for Black women.
Mhm.
It's disheartening, and then when I look at the season of executive orders, it came out strong saying, "No more DEI. If you have it, it's gonna DIE." So, I have to tell people, we don't wanna DIE for DEI. But, they started pulling the money. And I tell people, I said, "Oh, if you ever wanna stop equity work, then pull the equity, which is the money from it." And
Mhm.
that's what happened. And here's the thing, Dr. Henry, and Imma answer your question. I'm getting to it. I'm circling, but Imma land this thing. Imma land it good. But, I'm looking at the unemployment rate for Black women. I'm looking at the struggles. I know the history. And then the season of executive orders. Now I'm starting to see some kind of correlation like, huh, they really do think we are inferior. We're not. So when you look at the Reframe Institute, it's been I tell people I've been pregnant with this thing for 13 months now. Overdue to give birth. But it came about because I went to Ghana. Really came about when I went to Accra, Ghana.
Mhm.
And I was planning a Black History Month event here in America. It was called Black Her Story.
Mhm.
Black Her Story. And it was based on the hairstyles of Black women and people being able to touch the mannequin heads and design things. So I said, you know what, I want to go to. I want to go to Ghana, and I knew someone, and she spoke highly about it. I said, okay, I'm going to go, and so I went, and I was able to go to the Atlantic Ocean. My tour guide took me to the Atlantic Ocean, and I remember just sticking my feet in the water, and I said, I came back. I said, it may have taken a few centuries, but not only did I come back, I came back whole, and I came back as someone who holds this wealth of information. Like, I don't play when it comes to Dr. Pepple. That's right. I make sure people say it because with that title, doctor, it makes people slow down. And that's important when you're doing this anti-racism work. So I said, wow, who else can I bring back with me? But there's also more to it. I find that whenever I'm doing consulting work or whenever I'm giving trainings, the majority of the audience is white, and that's cool. That's cool. I said, but where are my people of color? They need to hear what I'm teaching and what I have to say as well.
Right.
And so when I think about the Reframe Institute, I said, okay, my people of color need healing too. Okay. My white brothers and sisters, y'all still got some learning to do. But at the same time, we still need to come together in this shared space for humanity.
Mhm.
And so then after I left them, I said, well, where are some other places where there was slavery, the origin of it? But more importantly, Dr. Henry, what do those places look like now?
Mhm.
So I
Mhm.
found myself in Washington, D.C. So I went to the African American History Museum. Mind blowing.
Mm.
So I'm asking folks, hey, have y'all been? They're like, no, we haven't been. I'm like, oh, you have to go. Um, then I found myself in Medford, Massachusetts. So just an hour away from here, down the street. And they have the one of the oldest surviving plantations in the Northeast. I said,
Mhm.
really? And so I went there twice, took a group. It's funny, whenever I go somewhere, I go alone and then I come back with like 15 more people. I've never seen it fail. And so I'm looking at this plantation and I was like, wow, right outside of Boston? And the thing with this plantation is called the Royal House and Slave Quarters.
Mm.
It sits right on Tufts University.
Mm.
And then I started thinking about Harvard and how Harvard had their enslaved individuals. But I'm like, wait a minute, we're so liberal. What is this? It's like, no, we need to go deeper. And then finally, I found myself in Montgomery, Alabama. I went to the Legacy Museum.
Mm.
And I mentioned these sites of origin because they're still struggling.
Right.
And so I'm saying to myself, well, are we seeing how, okay, this is where one of the places where slavery was, and then the people stayed, but they're still impoverished. Like, uh, are we making it connect here? What's really going on? And this is how the Reframe Institute came about. Because I
Mm.
can come in as a Black woman saying, we can fix this, fix that, fix that, fix that. But I need my white allies to come with whatever privilege or advantage that they have for us to come together to really tackle this history
Mhm.
so we can fix what's going on in the present to really reframe what's going on in the future. So this is how the Reframe Institute came about. Forgive me, I have to come up with a shortened version, but this is my story. And you
Okay.
know what I realized last night, Dr. Henry? I was we often hear the term lived experience.
Right.
Let me tell you something. I was down the street when Trayvon Martin was murdered. So
Mhm.
when I speak, when I have something to say, it's not just to speak for the heck of it. It
Mhm.
means learning is gonna come from this, and if I'm learning, all y'all gonna be learning. That's why I keep coming back with more people, but sorry, I'll stop, but that is how the Reframe Institute and it's an institute, because I realized to tackle a system, you need a system. You
Mhm.
need an institution, and this is how we have the Reframe Institute.
Okay, okay. So what does reframing history mean to you personally?
Yes, yes, yes. It means looking at it from a healed you have to be healed.
Mhm.
And you have to be emotionally intelligent to work with healed people. So I say that because one day I was working with a group of clinicians and they were speaking on trauma. And they said, Dr. Pepple, can you help us with racial trauma? And
Mm.
majority of them were white women and a couple of white men. And so I'm bringing in my lens and I'm learning about what they have to say about trauma. And I said to myself, huh, let me show some pictures of lynchings.
Mm.
And I stumbled upon this artist. I don't have his name on the top of my head, but he took old pictures from lynchings and he removed the victim from the picture. So what's left when you look at a picture is just a group of the people laughing and pointing and cheering at the sky because he removed the lynching. The artist removed the lynching. And I said, oh, this doesn't hurt.
Mhm.
Because as a young girl growing up, we would see Roots, we would see all these different, Amistad, all these different movies, and as a teenager, like, I would go to school mad on a Monday. Like, I don't like it. I didn't know that was trauma. I didn't know. So then I started watching it over the holiday breaks. I'm like, I can't go to school on Monday feeling like that. It was trauma. And what people don't realize with generational trauma, it gets passed on. Even if you
Right.
don't speak about it, it's somehow wired into the DNA. And
Right.
so I said, okay, we need to change up that 2% of DNA in our body to
Mhm.
reframe and to get this trauma out of us. Because if we don't pass trauma on directly, it can be passed on indirectly because of
Right.
our fear and our
Mhm.
bias. So when you ask me, what does it look like for reframing history? It's healed. And when you're
Mhm.
healed and you're whole, you want to see everything else healed and whole. So whatever we
Mhm.
pass on to our generation, whatever generational wealth, institutional wealth, economic wealth, whatever it is, it's whole.
Mm. Wonderful.
May I
Wonderful.
say one more thing, man? And also
Sure,
almost like
sure. Go
therapy.
ahead.
This feels like therapy. This feels good. Healing. This is healing. Well, I remember Dr. Henry growing up in Orlando. Um, Sinkholes
Mm.
were big for us. And, as little
Mhm.
kids, we would laugh because, you turn on the news the next morning and you see a whole dealership of cars just whoop in the ground. They were like, a sinkhole, a sinkhole. And knowing a thing or two about sinkholes, I can kind of tell where potential sinkholes may be because the ground is so soft and it's almost like when you step into it, it feels like quicksand. So it's like, oh,
Mhm.
no, I don't want to live there. So I say that because I would be foolish to build a new house, to build anything that's on land that has the potential to be a sinkhole. I've
Yeah.
seen matter of fact, 2 months ago, just in my mom's neighborhood, Huge sinkhole opened up in the middle of the road. And so I said, Mom, what are they going to do? She said, they're going to have to fill it. So we have a choice here in America, in our towns, in our circles, in our schools, wherever.
Mhm.
Are we going to fill the sinkholes that we know we're on, or are we
Mm.
just going to go to new land? And
Mm.
here's the thing about going to new land: not all land is good land. Not all
That's right.
soil is good soil. So
That's
it's almost like we're doing a site survey of this is where we're going. This is what we're doing. It's all right to avoid this area over here. I'm okay with that. I stay in my lane. I know what God has called me to
uh-huh.
do. But
Uh-huh.
that's reframing history. You are
Mm.
healed, you have people with you, and you have the tools for the site surveying.
Wow,
So
that's great. That's powerful.
thank
So how does your faith or your moral framework inform this work?
mm, 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 mm. I can't do it without God.
Mm.
And I realize that whatever He puts in my heart, that means He wants it to come out. That means I
Mhm.
gotta produce something with it. I think it was the late Miles Monroe who shared that if you want to know what your purpose is, you have to be able to walk into a room and see what makes you angry. And
Mm.
whatever makes you angry, whatever ticks you off, that means that's something that you have to solve or work on. And he also said you won't be able to solve it in your lifetime.
Ooh.
I said, so okay, okay, okay. And when God shows, I know my gifts,
Uh-huh.
visions and seeing things. So he's showing me for a reason. To whom
Uh-huh.
much is given, much is required. So,
Uh-huh.
he qualifies the call. I don't have to know it all to do
Uh-huh.
it. He's just like, you
Uh-huh.
have your oil. Here's what you're going to do. Um,
Uh-huh.
and also the thorn on the side. I'm like, Daddy, this too much. He said, Yep, it's there for a reason. Keep coming to me. And I can't do it without him. But more importantly, I was reading this morning when I was praying Psalm 112.
Uh-huh.
And in Psalm 112, he talks about David speaks about God loving justice.
Uh-huh.
And
Uh-huh.
whatever God is for, I'm for it too. So if
Uh-huh.
he knows, if he loves justice, if he loves justice, then he's gonna show me the blueprint to get justice. So that's how it's more than I can't do it without him. I lean on him, he shows me, he talks to me, and he brings the people, and my prayer has been surround me with people who were for me, who were for this work. So
Wow.
that's the faith. And more importantly, my definition of faith is fear says what if. Faith
Mm.
says
Mhm.
even if.
Mhm.
When it's like, well, let's go.
Okay. Okay.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
what are your immediate goals and what are your long range goals?
Mhm, mhm, mhm. Um, Immediate goals is to become a 501(c)(3). So
Okay.
we're waiting right now. It could take anywhere from a few weeks to a few months. And I say that because one, it shows just how serious this institute is with getting this
Mhm.
status, but more importantly, the grant money and the funding for it. Um,
Mhm.
we need help. We need help, and we need help to push this work forward. The historical site visits, the pilgrimage, being able to provide supplies to people in need. Having this status will help to elevate us and for us to get more resources. And also, we have what we call the freedmen, the freedmen
Mhm.
circle. And that's me getting corporate sponsorships, whether it's diapers, whether it's laundry detergent, or people just donating for us to go to Montgomery, Alabama the first week of April. That's the immediate piece. Another immediate goal would be us having our community events. Our community events will start March 2026, where we're going to be serving hot meals to 700 people, and we're also going to be passing out hygiene kits to people as well. So for those who are seeking shelter, for those who need diapers and supplies, we're going to be passing that out too. So it's not just a pantry giving away things. Some items will be given away, but would love to sit down and fellowship and have community with people to eat because you want to see real change. It starts with
Right.
breaking bread at the table. So we would love to do this once a month in
Wow.
Worcester and also in a city called Springfield, Massachusetts as well. Immediate steps, getting volunteers, and also continuing to map out where we want to go, meaning the different museums, the different states, because the places I have listed,
Mhm.
I have my support base there. So it's not like, yeah, y'all, we gonna go to Las Vegas because they got something tied to slavery. Like, no, y'all trying to go to them slot machines. That ain't it. That's not it. But I build connections. I work with the people because here's the thing, Dr. Henry. We don't just go for a tour. You
Mhm.
you have to see you have to create a blueprint afterwards. You have
Right.
homework afterwards. So now what are we going to fix? What are we going to do? How do you take this information back to your social circle?
Right. Right.
And
Right.
long term, oh my goodness, getting resources to feed more people, to help more people, to have courses in communities and for us to continue moving this work forward, but definitely feeding those who are impoverished, continuing to go into the different educational institutions and the different corporations to do this work,
Mhm.
and creating some sort of therapy session. I noticed that with people of color, some of them have trouble trying to access therapists who have the same lived experience as them. So
Right.
also working on building a division that can cater to the needs of those with similar lived experiences long term.
Okay. All
Yes,
right.
ma'am.
Now, in describing your work, you offer the liberation
Yes.
framework.
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
you talked a little bit about the corporate angle. And
Mhm.
so, can you talk a little bit about those 3 points in the liberation framework?
Yes, 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 yes. Now I'm looking like I should have had a picture of it. So wait. Now I'm gonna pull it up on my phone right here. I want to make sure I say it. But as I'm pulling that up, I do want to say this. Before the liberation framework was created, I was using a framework called the DBIE framework, stands for diversity, belonging, inclusion, and equity. And it pretty much showed how it can take a organization, community, or school district 8 to 10 years to make a place more equitable. Yeah. I saw that, Dr. Henry. Some people think they can go in overnight and turn the world upside down. I am scared of people like that. No, no. They'll come in and do more damage. Matter of fact, it was Dr. Maya Angelou who said, you need equal amounts of patience and passion.
Mhm.
Too much patience,
Mhm.
the work won't get done. Too much passion, you blow it up. So you need equal amounts. So with that framework of 8 to 10 years, I get it. I see it. It makes it sustainable.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
that's for now, building into the
Mhm.
future. But the liberation framework, you have to go back. It's like buying a new place and you're getting the inspection. And here's the thing, Dr. Henry, some people are so quick to move into a place, they forego the inspection. No, not me.
Mm.
Let's raise some funds. We need to see what's wrong with this house and what needs to be built. And so with the liberation framework, it states these are where the cracks are in the foundation.
Mhm.
This is what needs to be sealed.
Mhm.
Here's the plan to do it.
Mhm.
Now you could chew gum and walk at the same time. You can have the liberation framework. You can also have DBIE. But diving right into that liberation framework, I'm pulling it up right now. Had to put the code in. I'm coming. That was good, Dr. Henry. That was good. I'm pulling it up. Pulling it up. All right. So with the liberation framework, you have the excavation, naming the unseen ground, and it's bringing to light historical wounds, unspoken trauma, entrenched patterns of exclusion, and buried narratives. Now, here's the thing, Dr. Henry. You can't just go in there saying, "Yep, let's talk slavery and history." Wow, you'll scare people. You can't
Mhm.
do that. So you need to have a space of belonging. And you gotta prep
Mhm.
people up to hear it. You can't just wake up one day saying, "We gonna buy this right here." No. What are you really getting into? So, you have to create that shared space and then present, "Here's the history, here's the information."
Mhm. Mhm.
And people have to pick their side of choice. So for instance, 2 of my clients are churches. I never thought I'd be working in the church." And, I'm like, "Ooh," I said, "Okay, God, you brought me to it. Here we go." But I share that because we have to name that certain parts of religion kept Black people in bondage, kept
Mhm.
oppression happening. So I'm very mindful of who I work with. I'm mindful. I carry, liability insurance. I'm insured for up to 5 million because you never know what may happen. But that's excavation. We're digging, we're seeing, we're naming it. But remediation, healing what was harmed. So the repair, the acknowledgement, now we're stabilizing the ground. But it's more than just, "I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry." Now how do we fix it?
Mhm.
And as much as I talk about healing, white folks need healing too.
Mhm.
That's why I really say I no longer say I need allies. I say I need gladiators. We don't need no spectators. Come in the ring with me. We have this work to do. And some people will say, "But I don't have the right words." But are you emotionally intelligent? Because we all gonna make mistakes in this.
Mhm. Mhm.
We apologize, we keep going. And then, but more importantly, we're looking at patterns.
Mhm.
We're looking at patterns. And Dr. Henry, the hard part with the liberation framework is you're working with people who have received a ton of information and ideologies that's been passed down
Mhm.
several hundred years. So you talk about excavating, picking it.
Mhm.
You got to be healthy and you have to want to do it.
That's
Uh,
true.
and then now you
Mm.
have new land, you have new ground. So you see how this can also take some years to do. Uh,
Mhm.
but like I said before, you can walk and chew gum at the same time. Because here's the thing, Dr. Henry, and then I'll stop because I can hear myself. When I look at places that say, "Oh, we want to diversify the workforce," they think hiring a group of Black people, they're solid. No, just as fast as you get them, just as fast as you will lose them. And so you have to begin to look at what I call culture.
Mhm.
See, that's the thing with this, if I can say it. Sometimes I get mad at my DEI practitioners because we allowed other people to define and determine what DEI stood for.
Mhm. Mhm.
So it's not just we want diversity. No, we call it culture.
Mhm.
DEI is what brings people to the pool. But who you gonna let swim? What's your culture
Mm.
saying? Your culture's
Right.
pushing something out. And so with the liberation framework, we're seeing where those cracks are. But here's the beautiful thing. Um, in some Japanese cultures, whenever something breaks, they use like the gold filling to put it back
Mm.
together. You still see the
Right.
cracks, but you see the gold that's within it. That's reframing history. That's the liberation framework. I'm not saying, toss the bathwater out and the people who use the bathwater. No, we finna heal those cracks. And I need those cracks to show.
Mhm.
That was the history. But somebody was brave enough to take some gold and to peel that bad boy in so we can move forward and be on
Mhm.
solid ground.
Okay.
That's the
Okay.
liberation framework.
And you talk about excavation, bringing the unseen to light. Why is telling the truth about our history the first step toward healing?
That's how you cleanse the wounds, because people are still walking around with wounds. There's wounds in
Mhm.
history, there's wounds in people, there are wounds in children, there are wounds in generation, and some people
Mhm.
don't even know. Sometimes you can
Mhm.
wake up like, "Oh, how did this happen? Oh, I don't know, I'll keep going." No, let's how about this, Dr. Henry? whenever you go to the doctor, whenever I go to the doctor, the first thing they wanna know is the family history. They need to know
That's
the
true.
family true. So you need to know the family history to see what type
Mhm.
of, antibiotics or what other types of medications we may need to avoid, or that we may need to pursue, or that we may need to create to
Mhm.
prolong your health, your
Mhm.
well-being. So, addressing those wounds, it's the first step to heal, and it's gonna hurt. If you really
Mm.
gotta go in there and clean it, you can't put no Band-Aid.
Yeah.
That's the problem now. People put Band-Aids. Like, ma'am, you bleeding through the bandages right here. What is this? No, you got to go in there, pull something out, clean it up, sew it up, and now we keep it going.
Yeah.
It's the first
And
step.
and how do you do that, without becoming
Mm,
overwhelmed or discouraged?
You need to have a team. You
Okay.
need to have a team, and you need to keep it small. So if I decide, oh, I want to go and lose weight, I don't start off by saying, oh, I'm going to lose this much. Start
Mhm.
off with the first 15, start off with the first 10. You have to start small, but you got to have a vision. God says,
Mhm.
my people will perish because they lack a vision. So one, you need to have a
Mhm.
vision. Two, you need to
Mhm.
have a team for accountability. And three, you need to start small
Mhm.
and also knowing what it looks like to take care of yourself. So the walking, the singing, the moving, the dancing, when I look at our ancestry, that's what they did, and they did it for a reason. And also beginning to look at some of those techniques that were used in the past and bringing them into now. Some
Right.
people will say, oh, yoga, this is what we started. Technically, no, we had it first. So then how do you reclaim that back? But those are some of the first steps.
Mm.
But you gotta know who you are. You gotta know your triggers, and also be brave enough to stop. That's the blog I'm getting ready to work on. Being brave enough to say, you know what, I'm full. You know what, that's enough. You know what, this isn't for me.
Mm. Mm.
But Dr. Henry, I saw this meme, and it said something of you should have the best time was the first time you noticed something was wrong and you stayed quiet. Now is the second best time to say something.
Right.
So having the courage to stop. No stop.
And after the community or a particular community does the hard work of excavation and
Hmm.
repair,
Hmm.
how do they begin rebuilding something new?
Oh, listen, that's one of the long-term goals right there.
Okay.
Listen.
Okay.
There's four different ways you can do it. And this is based off of something called the four eyes of oppression. You have
Okay.
ideology, institutional, interpersonal, and internalism. So I often have people choose an I to focus on. So if
Mm.
I'm focusing on institutional oppression, what are the written laws, mandates, and words that continues to marginalize people? So we take a look at that and we begin looking at what we need to get rid of, what we need to transform so it's no longer marginalizing people. So we break it up into four. Yeah, bite
Okay.
size. We bite sizing it before we take the whole candy bar.
What?
But it's different ways. So even if I were to take interpersonal, which means
Mhm.
culture,
Mhm.
and that's hard because you're dealing with a group of people. And with culture, with interpersonal oppression, it's pretty much where the microaggressions pop up, where the unconscious
Mhm.
biases come up, pretty much the unspoken rule of superiority. So how do you not get rid of it? It's hard to get rid of something, but how do you diminish it? Make it
Mhm.
small enough, narrow it to where we can wipe it out.
Mhm.
There's
Mhm.
so many different ways. But yeah, bringing it back to the four eyes of oppression. Pick an eye, pick a piece, eat it, and we'll go on to the next one. Mhm.
Wonderful. What gives you hope when you think about the future of our country and our relationships with one another?
Mm, mm. There's so many different answers, but the best thing I can say is diversity, equity, inclusion, belonging, justice, liberation. It's coming back. And when it comes
Mm,
back, it's going to be a mighty wave.
mm,
Uh, the silos that I see now, the divisions that I see now, it's gonna take light, love, repairing, restoring that's gonna bring it back. That's my hope. And here's the thing, I often hear people say, "We're going backwards, we're going backwards." My response is, it's almost like a circle.
Mhm.
So we were at the top of this circle. I was going, oh, 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 going down. And if you're a circle, you have no choice but to come back up.
Yeah,
So I
right.
look at it as a circle. And so, and it's infinity. So it's
Mhm,
gonna come back.
mhm,
It's gonna, and when you I know God, and when I listen and when I'm obedient and he shows me things and how to lay it out and do it, that gives me hope. He is my hope. I can't do it without him. I think more
mhm,
importantly, my daughter who's 5, she's
mhm,
seeing what her mom is doing.
mhm.
When I was running for office, and, got almost 7,000 votes, by the way, but um, she was holding signs with me.
Mm.
So, and she said, "Vote Dr. J, vote Dr. J," and even, even when the election didn't go the way I wanted it, she said, "You gonna do it again, mommy? Mommy, mommy, why didn't you win the championship?" That's what we called it. That's what we called it. I had to put it in kid-friendly terms. I said, "It's a championship." She's like, "Mama, why didn't you win the championship?" She said, "You gotta do it again." I was like, "Yeah, okay, we'll do it again." But I say that because now she's seen it.
Mhm,
And
mm.
now she's like, "Well, mommy, how do I do?" She's like, "Mommy, can I vote for you?" I said, "Well, you have to be a certain age." And she was crying because she couldn't vote for me. So I said, "Well,
Aw.
that feels good." So now I'm passing things on to her because here's another thing that really messes me up with people. People will hold on to truth. They will hold on to
Mhm,
knowledge and like, "No, we're not sharing." I'm right here pouring it. If you want this
mhm,
water to drink, I got
mhm.
it. Let's go. But that the kids are seeing it. But well, let me
Mhm.
say this, Dr. Henry. I had these door hangers with my saying, vote for me. And my daughter was taking them to school. I didn't know. I found out I did it. I did, she has a book bag. I didn't know. And like the day before the election, her teachers were saying, "We're rooting for you." And Eliana always comes with your door hang. I said, "Well, look at my little," call her my campaign intern. I said, "We starting early with this thing." But when the people see it, and more importantly, it's not performative. So
Mhm,
it didn't stop. And so with the Reframe Institute coming out on Thanksgiving Day, and I chose
mhm.
that for a reason. It's so the history is so significant. But 3 weeks after the election, they were like, "Wow, Jessica, you're serious about this work." It didn't stop. Been pregnant with this
Yeah,
thing for over 13 months. It's not a gimmick. That's
right,
that's that's the that's the hope. And can't
right,
nobody take it from me. Because
right.
when you were solid in who you are and the rock
Mhm,
on who you stand, you
mhm.
can't take nothing from me. Let's go. That's my hope, Henry.
Emunah listeners, Dr. Pebble is a former Worcester, I always have a problem with that word, Worcester City Councilor candidate. She ran for the at-large seat. And previously, she was the inaugural Chief Diversity and Culture Officer at RFK Community Alliance in Lancaster, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And last year, she was named one of the Worcester's Business Journal's Power 100. I just wanted to add that. So, would you say this is one of your most ambitious
Mm.
projects,
Mm.
especially given today's climate that you've
Mhm.
talked about? The
Yes.
shifts in national conversations around slavery, racism, and DEI,
Mhm.
particularly under the Trump administration.
Yeah.
And if it is your most ambitious,
Mhm.
what gives you confidence that this work can succeed
Mm.
right now?
Mm. Mm. It is most ambitious. You can't hide it. It's not to be hidden. And the timing of it. Whew, who would have thought? Who would have thought? Um, whether people want it or not. First of all, they do. They do want it. They're also looking for a leader who's not going to hide it,
Mm,
who's not going to call it by a different name. And I've been at the forefront with it.
mhm.
Even when I go back to campaigning and the different debates, I always spoke about equity and access. It wasn't buzzwords of somebody. It's like, here I am. Here's the platform. You Google my name, it's still the same platform. I didn't shy away from it. So there's no fear. There's faith behind it. Um, and more importantly, the tools I'm offering, the blueprint I'm offering, it works. I mean, woo, woo, and I see it because I see it. I see it, and I got the data behind it.
Mhm.
That's the thing with doing this anti-racist work. You have no metrics, then how do you know what's working? You have no data, how do you know if it's working? Whenever, I was speaking with some clients yesterday. I said, you need to have an elevator pitch for why you're doing this work. I said, because it's no longer about, I'm doing it for the goodness of my heart. No, people need to see data. People need to see numbers. Get out of here with that, for the heart stuff. I hear you. But throw data at me. Because when you're able, so what I'm gonna bring it home, Dr. Henry. So whenever I'm speaking about microaggressions, some people think, oh, it's just touchy feeling. I said, oh, okay. I said, which one grabs your attention? I said, is it option A, hey, I don't feel seen, I don't feel heard, or is it option B? 8 times this week I faced the microaggressions.
Mm.
So when you throw the numbers behind it, now it's a problem. Now it's a trend. And if it happens
Mhm.
again, then we have the data set forth.
Mhm.
So even
Mhm.
when you look at desegregation efforts, it wasn't just from the kindness of my heart. No, lack of resources. This many kids are missing. And you have to throw numbers. And more importantly, if you want people to align with you doing this work, you need numbers.
Mhm.
How else do
Mhm.
you get elected? I want to elect Jessica out of the kindness of my heart. No, no. She needs this many votes, this many thousands of votes to get in. This ain't no kindness of the heart. Stop that. So that I say that because that's the ambition. When you got the tools, the sauce, the know-how, the testimony, the backing, but more importantly, when God says, oh, you finna do this? Say no more. Just send me help. Let's go.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yes, ma'am.
Now there's a town hall meeting planned for December 10th,
Yes.
and
Yes.
it's with the police chief.
Yeah, yeah. It's the town of Stowe, Massachusetts, STOW, and that will be next week. A conversation on belonging and equity, and we're diving into racism. Had a rehearsal last night, exactly. And I said, wow, what's up with all this ambition? I'm like, whew, it increases week by week. But Dr. Henry, I say that because the town of Stowe is predominantly white. And the chief of police, Michael Salisi, tapped me on the shoulder. He said, Dr. Pepple, I'd like to do this. Can you be our guide? And I always
Wow.
ask, are you sure you want to do this? It's kind of like taking a new medication. Here are the side effects if you decide to do this. Let me know. And he said, yes. And and Dr. Henry, I guess it became real for me because they were saying how they're going to have more law enforcement in the building. And they're gonna
Mm,
have some of the dogs in the building. And I'm like,
mm,
this is happening. And then the chief also said, he said, Dr. Pepple, I want to acknowledge some of the Black people who were innocent, who died at the hands of law enforcement. And I went, whoa. And Dr. Henry, I say that because it's a dream come true.
mm,
Um, a year ago, October 2024, I held a virtual session on Sonia Massey and how she was murdered. I just remember saying, can't y'all just humanize Black women?
mm,
And to see this come, I don't know, 14, 15 months later,
mhm.
it's like, it's not performative, you know? And it's like, okay, Reframe Institute, we doing it by towns now, let's go. So it is, I mean, but how many people can say that? Because coming from the South, some of my folks were lynched just for even trying to vote.
Right.
Yet we finna have a town hall about this?
Yeah.
Let's go. God be with me. So I need all the angels, all the prayers, I can. So but it's like, let's go, fearless leader. And I'm only fearless because
Wonderful.
I know God is with me. But let's go.
Wonderful. That is great. That is great.
Thank you.
Dr. Pebble, thank you for reminding us that healing is possible and that dignity is something God intends for every one of his children.
Yes.
When we tell the truth about our past, we open the door for God to write a different future. For those listening, if today's conversation stirs something in you, visit the Reframe Institute and learn how you can join a journey, a training, or a community dialogue. And I'll provide contact information in the show notes. And remember, faith isn't passive. Faith is active. Faith builds, faith heals, faith reframes. This is Emunah. Thank you for listening. And until next time, keep walking by faith.